Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar for the Powered and Prepared Initiative. My name is Susanna Whitlatch, and I work for CARET, the agency that's supporting Henry L. Hillman Foundation for this initiative. A few housekeeping notes as we get started. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on the News and Media Kit page of the initiative website later this week. We will also email it to those who've registered for the challenge. We've reserved most of our time over the next hour for your questions. In just a moment, the Henry L. Hillman Foundation team will welcome you and provide an overview of the initiative. I'll then do a quick walkthrough of the initiative website with my CARET colleague, Ethan Matthews. Then my colleagues Amy Klein, Cristobal Villena, and Amare Silva, also from CARET, will help open it up for your questions. And as questions come up, please type them into the questions box within Zoom, and we'll answer as many as we can within our allotted time today. If you have a question that does not get answered during this call, we encourage you to email us at questions@poweredandprepared.org, and we'll make sure to follow up with you directly. And before we move on, here are some important dates to keep in mind. The deadline to register for the Powered and Prepared initiative is in a little over 3 weeks at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Please note that you must register to submit an application. We are also planning a pre-application webinar that will take place on Thursday, September 3rd, 2026 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The sign-up link for that session will be shared with all registered applicants once the registration deadline passes. And if you have questions after today's session, you can always reach us at questions@poweredandprepared.org. And now I'm pleased to turn things over to the Henry L. Hillman Foundation team.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for being here. I'm Meredith Mavero. I'm a program officer at Henry L. Hillman Foundation, which is one of the 18 individual family foundations under the Hillman Family Foundation's administrative umbrella. I'm joined by my colleagues, Alex Taylor, who's also a program officer, and Stefan Bontrager, our communications director. We're part of the core Hillman team that's working with CARET. And just to reiterate what Susanna had said about our organizational roles, CARET is helping us administer the initiative, and Henry L. Hillman Foundation is providing oversight and grant funding. I think you'll find that working with CARET is really great. They're a great resource for you, and they can help guide you in and out of the program. So make sure you lean on them as a good resource. And before CARET leads us through some of your questions, we want to start with a brief background on the initiative for those who may recently discovered it. And for that, I'm going to pass things over to Alex.
Thanks, Meredith. I'm sure most of you on this call and living in southwestern Pennsylvania know what it feels like when you are checking your weather app and see that a line of severe storms is predicted to hit in the hours or days ahead. We've all lived through these storms that seem to be getting increasingly severe. And I know I brace myself when I see a storm coming because I wonder if there's going to be a power outage, down tree limbs, sometimes worse. And I know that that feeling is compounded even more when you are working for an organization that helps support others, and it's not just worrying about your own self and your own house. After the damaging storms last year, our foundation team heard from a lot of nonprofit partners who had experienced big setbacks after that storm with power outages, as well as other electrical grid failures and challenges. We know that these power outages are really challenging for residents, and like I said, doubly so for organizations that provide essential services to their communities. That's why the Henry L. Hillman Foundation launched the Powered and Prepared initiative, specifically for nonprofit and municipal organizations that need backup power solutions to help weather these outages. I'm going to turn it over now to Stefan on our team, who is going to give a high-level overview of the initiative.
Thanks, Alex, and thank you all again for being here this afternoon. As was previously mentioned, Susanna is going to help guide us through the more specific questions, and you all will have the opportunity to add your questions to the comments. Also, there's a lot of great information and resources at your disposal at the project website, which you can see on screen now, and we'll be going through more in depth. The website is poweredandprepared.org. The basic parameters of the Powered and Prepared initiative are this. Up to 15 applicants will be selected to receive $300,000 each to implement backup power solutions to help minimize disruptions during storms and power grid failures. This initiative requires that nonprofit and local government agency applicants be located in one of the 10 eligible southwestern PA counties. That's Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Greene, Indiana, Lawrence, Washington, and Westmoreland counties. This initiative is what we're saying is technology agnostic, meaning that the grant funds can be used for a wide range of backup power solutions. And that can include, but it's not limited to solar power, fixed generators, portable generators, battery systems, and innovative energy systems. You're going to be hearing those deadlines a lot during this hour, so I'll say them once again. Interested participants must register to be eligible by 5 p.m. Eastern on August 26th, 2026. And those applications must be submitted by registered participants by 5 p.m. Eastern on September 17th, 2026. We know that your time is at a premium as nonprofit and local government leaders. So again, thank you very much for taking the time to participate in this session, and we'll keep things moving by handing them back to Susanna.
Thanks so much, Stefan. And next, let's go through an overview of the website and the process to participate in this initiative. So your first step to help determine whether you're a good fit for this opportunity is the Participant Readiness tool, which you can access from the main drop-down menu. The tool walks you through several questions to help determine eligibility for this initiative. If you feel that your organization is a strong fit for the Powered and Prepared initiative, we encourage you to complete the registration process as soon as possible if you have not done so already. And please note that registration does not require you to submit an application, but it is required to participate should you decide to apply. As such, we encourage you to register before the deadline, even if you're still deciding whether to apply. And registration is required, again, for you to be able to submit an application. Registration is a very simple process. You'll go to the upper right-hand corner or footer of any page on the website and click on the button that counts down the number of days left to register. You'll then be instructed to create and confirm your account. Once confirmed, you'll be prompted to submit some basic information about you and your organization so that we can better understand our registrant community. You can opt in to receive an email confirmation of your registration form, and if you're able to access the online application form and forums on the platform, then you have registered properly. The Powered and Prepared initiative, like all of our programs, is rooted in the values of openness, transparency, and fairness. We want to be sure that everyone who registers and applies for this opportunity knows exactly what to expect from them, when and how they're going to be scored, and who will be evaluating their applications. This website is built as an instructional guide to understand that process. An important resource to review even before you register is the application. The full text of the application is available for any visitor to this site. If you go to Menu and then Application, as Ethan's showing here, you can see all of the questions, prompts, requirements, and word count limits. And the application has several sections. You're encouraged to read all of them so that you have a good grasp of what is required to submit a full application. And once you've done that, you should have a strong sense of what you'll need to do to apply. And then next, let's take a look at the About page. This page provides additional details about the initiative, the problem we're aiming to solve, and a little lower on, links to the resources page. And on the resources page, the Henry L. Hillman Foundation has compiled a variety of resources about backup power generation and emergency planning for participants to use as they prepare their applications, as well as for the wider community to leverage as southwestern Pennsylvania improves its power resilience. It specifically includes a few resources to consider while developing an emergency plan, which is required for the application. And now let's visit the rules page. On the rules page, you can read about the legal stipulations governing your participation. You can find the area and learn more about the detailed terms and conditions. Administrative review will take place immediately following the submission deadline. The Powered and Prepared Initiative team will review all submissions to ensure they comply with the rules and application requirements. All complete and valid applications will move on to evaluation panel review. So then the next question we typically get is how will the applications be evaluated? And on the initiative website, you can click on scoring process on the menu and then scoring rubric. And on this page, you'll see the 4 criteria that will be used during the evaluation panel to score and comment on the submissions. The 4 criteria are durable, integrated, impactful, and feasible. And each trait consists of a prompt that details what each of those criteria mean in this context, and each trait will be given a score between 0 and 5. You can toggle back and forth between the scoring ranges for any given trait, and a phrase will appear to provide further detail on what a low and high score means for the Powered and Prepared initiative. We encourage you to familiarize yourself with this rubric to help build a strong application. And this brings us to the actual scoring process. Following the application deadline, all eligible submissions will move into evaluation panel review. When viewing the evaluation page on the website, you can click on a button that says Meet Our Judges to see the list of judges who are confirmed at this time. And not only will you receive scores on your submission from 5 of the evaluation panel judges, but you'll also get feedback. In addition to numeric scores, evaluation panel members are required to provide comments to justify each score and note their overall impression of each application. We often find that this feedback is one of the most important aspects of participating in our initiatives for our applicants, and that even if you're not selected as an awardee, you walk away with valuable feedback that then you can use to refine your project and seek other funding or expanded support. And then the next step of the evaluation process is the selection committee. So informed by the evaluation panel, the selection committee will review the top scoring submissions. The selection committee is comprised of staff from Henry L. Hillman Foundation, and based on considerations that may include but are not limited to the evaluation panel resulting rank order and a diversity of solutions, geography, and feasibility, the selection committee will select up to 15 awardees who will each receive up to $300,000. And next, let's go over another common question we receive. How do we ensure the process is fair? And to address this question, we have a webpage dedicated specifically to explaining how we normalize scores. I mentioned every valid application will first be scored by 5 members of our evaluation panel. This means that not every judge will look at every application. We make sure you're not disadvantaged if by chance you were assigned to a hard grader and another applicant was reviewed by someone who tended to be a little more lenient. In brief, all scores are rescaled and normalized. And if you go to the menu and click Scoring Process and then click on Fairness, you can view this page to read more about how this works. And then next, we have a timeline page that details each phase of the initiative. Again, as a reminder, registration is required and must be completed by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26th, 2026, for you to be able to submit an application. And once you register, you'll have access to the full application platform where you can enter and submit your application. The submission deadline is 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, September 17th, 2026. The timeline goes on to list all other key dates related to the initiative, including administrative review, evaluation panel review, award selection, and award announcement. Our website also includes other helpful areas like the News and Media Kit page. This can be found on the menu at the very bottom under News and Media Kit. And on this page, we'll post the recording of this webinar and other updates along the way. Be sure to continue checking this page for updates. And then we also have a series of frequently asked questions on our FAQ page. This can also be found on the web page menu. Questions answered on today's webinar will be added, and we'll continue to update this page throughout the process. We encourage you to read over all of these FAQs and check back for updated information and guidance. And now let's move on to the Q&A portion of the webinar. Please continue to add your questions to the questions box, and we'll get to as many as possible. If you have questions after today's session or technical requests, please email us at questions@poweredandprepared.org. And please note that to ensure fairness, we're not able to provide guidance specific to your proposed project. Okay, let's get started. I'll let Amy and Christabel take it from here.
Thanks, Susanna. Let's start with general questions we've received about the initiative. What can I win?
Yes, the Powered and Prepared initiative is seeking proposals from nonprofit and municipal organizations for backup power solutions that allow those organizations to offer essential services during emergencies without disruption. So up to 15 awardees will receive $300,000 each.
Next question. How can I ask questions or get help with accessibility?
Yes, so please email us at questions@poweredandprepared.org with any initiative-related questions, requests for help with accessibility and special accommodations, and for any technical support.
How do I sign up to receive initiative correspondence like deadline reminders and application status updates?
So once you've registered and throughout the initiative, we will send important notifications to the registered email address associated with your account, as well as to the primary and secondary contacts that you've listed on your registration form. And there are 3 important steps that you can take to help make sure these messages are received promptly. First, please add questions@poweredandprepared.org to your contacts. You can also whitelist our email address. There are instructions about how to add to your whitelist in the FAQ section labeled About the Initiative on the initiative website. And then if any of your contact information changes, please update your registration form right away. And to do this, you'll log into the platform, click on the submissions on the top right, and select registration form to update. And you can edit your registration form up until the application submission deadline. And if you need to make a change after the application window is closed, please email us and we will assist you.
Next question. How is the initiative defining essential services?
Yes, so we do not have a checklist of essential services, though helping to support basic needs like food, safety, shelter, heating, and cooling may come to mind. The impactful criterion of the initiative scoring rubric asks whether the applicant's proposal addresses an urgent problem that's worth solving and whether it will have transformative impact, either in breadth of beneficiaries, geography, or intensity of impact on a smaller but a particularly vulnerable group. So a strong proposal will clearly articulate who loses out when the power goes down and why that matters in an emergency context. Section D of the application asks participants to fully explain the specific problem that you intend to solve, including the regional or community needs that the project will address.
Now let's move on to questions about eligibility. Who can participate?
The Powered and Prepared initiative requires each applicant to identify a lead organization who will assume responsibility for the receipt and management of any award. The lead organization will need to register by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26th. Nonprofit organizations and local government agencies are eligible to serve as a lead organization. In addition, the lead organization must serve and benefit communities located in at least one of the 10 counties outlined on the website in southwestern Pennsylvania. They are Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Greene, Indiana, Lawrence, Washington, and Westmoreland. Please also note that the lead organization must own the building or property where the project will be located. So in the case of portable generators, the lead organization must be able to demonstrate that it owns the building where the portable generators would be stored or used. The documentation to confirm building and or property ownership may be collected from participants who are selected to participate in the later stages of the initiative. So we encourage you to review the rules on our website for a complete set of eligibility requirements.
Next question. Are churches eligible if they serve as an official community cooling and heating center?
As mentioned, the Powered and Prepared Initiative seeks proposals from nonprofit and municipal organizations in southwestern Pennsylvania for backup power solutions that allow those organizations to offer essential services during emergencies without disruption. So eligible lead organization types are an entity based in and serving communities within the U.S. or U.S. territories under Section 501c3 and 509a1 or 2 of the IRC, and that has received a tax determination letter from the IRS. A local government agency, including a tribal government or tribal-owned enterprise based in or serving communities within the U.S. or U.S. territories. Again, please review the rules for more information about eligibility and review the scoring rubric to learn more about how we have defined a strong proposal.
Can I collaborate with any other entities?
Eligible organizations are welcome to collaborate with nonprofit organizations, for-profit companies, foundations, schools, colleges, and universities, government agencies, individuals, and other entities, either U.S.-based or non-U.S. based, to develop these solutions. So organizations proposing to work together must demonstrate through a fully executed MOU or other similar agreement that all parties have agreed that the lead organization will serve as the awardee, and that the lead will have direction, control, and supervision of the proposed project and management of all grant funds, and that the lead will be responsible for all reporting requirements. So MOUs will not be collected in the application, but MOUs may be collected from teams that are selected to participate in later stages of the initiative.
Next question. What types of projects are you looking for, and what project stages are eligible?
The Powered and Prepared Initiative invites proposals that will be led by a credible team with the resources, skills, and organizational capacity needed to successfully implement their backup power solution. And they should meet the 4 criteria outlined in the scoring rubric, which are durable, integrated, impactful, and feasible. So this program seeks to support the purchase of backup power generation. Awards may be used to pay for equipment and installation costs, as well as relevant electrical and enabling renovations. Eligible expenses include, but are not limited to, equipment and supplies, installation costs, enabling renovations and upgrades, salaries for directly relevant personnel, and seeding small maintenance and repair funds. This initiative is technology agnostic, allowing applicants to propose a range of solutions, including but not limited to solar power, fixed generators, portable generators, battery systems, and innovative energy systems that best meet the power resilience needs of their communities and enable essential service providers to continue to operate during community-wide power outages. Projects currently ongoing at the time of application are eligible to apply. And lead organizations are welcome to collaborate with other entities on their solutions as noted in the rules. Be sure to review the scoring rubric on our website to understand how applications will be evaluated.
Next question. What if my lead organization does not own the building or property where that project will be located? What if my project involves portable generators?
So again, the lead organization must own the building or property where the project will be located. And the documentation to confirm that ownership may be collected from applicants who are selected to participate in later stages of this initiative. So in the case of portable generators, the lead organization must be able to demonstrate that it owns the building where the portable generators would be stored or used. And really, the intent of this rule is to ensure that the benefits of the project remain with the community and the lead organization and not with any landlord.
Can multiple smaller facilities that each own their own building apply together under one proposal?
So more than one organization may apply together on one proposal, so long as the lead organization is eligible according to our rules. And then funds may be subgranted to partners on the proposal, but the lead organization must own the building or property where the project will be located. So partners proposing a fixed installation at their building must also be building owners. And again, the intent of this rule is to ensure that the benefits of the project remain with the community and the lead organization and not with the landlord. And the lead organization applicants are also allowed to partner with others for assistance and support to develop their proposal, such as with the community foundation. And then as mentioned, while MOUs will not be collected in the application at this time, applicants proposing to work together who move on to later stages of the initiative will be required to submit a fully executed MOU or other similar agreement. We leave it up to each applicant to best determine the team structure that works best for their proposed project. So again, please review the rules for more information and scoring rubric to learn more about how we have defined a strong proposal.
Next question. What if my project location is outside of the 10 eligible southwestern Pennsylvania counties?
So the Powered and Prepared initiative is only open to proposals that serve at least one of the 10 southwestern Pennsylvania counties that are listed on our website. Again, they are Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Greene, Indiana, Lawrence, Washington, and Westmoreland. Please visit the Henry L. Hillman Foundation website, henrylhillmanfoundation.org, and connect with us on LinkedIn to receive updates about future initiatives.
Next question. If I apply for the Powered and Prepared initiative, will I be eligible for other grant opportunities at Hillman Associated Foundations?
So while we typically encourage applicants to only apply to one of the 18 foundations under the Hillman Family Foundation administrative umbrella per year, the Powered and Prepared initiative is a unique, time-limited opportunity. So applying for this initiative does not prohibit organizations from applying for other Hillman grant opportunities. Please visit the Hillman Family Foundation website at hillmanfamilyfoundations.org and scroll to find a foundation to familiarize yourself with the grant process and FAQs on each individual foundation's website before pursuing grant opportunities beyond the Powered and Prepared initiative.
Can projects include backup power for access and security, phones, internet, lighting, and essential HVAC/RTU replacement?
And we cut out a little bit at the end, I think it was to keep services operating during outages. So a strong proposal will clearly articulate who loses out when the power goes down and why that matters in an emergency context. So this could include describing in the application the impact of losing necessary operational utilities like those outlined in the question.
The following questions will relate to the application. How do I apply?
We invite you to first assess your fit and eligibility for the Powered and Prepared initiative by completing our readiness tool. Then please register no later than 5:00 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26th to participate. Registration is required and it's a simple two-step process. First, you'll create a username and password, then check your inbox to confirm your registration. Then next, you'll complete the online registration form. And once you're registered, you will have access to the online application and forums on the platform. And then you'll submit your application online no later than 5:00 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, September 17th.
Can I complete more than one submission?
So you may only complete one submission as the lead organization. An organization could serve as a partner on a team for multiple applications, provided that each application proposes a separate and distinct project. So this means each project can only be submitted once, and we leave it up to each team to designate their eligible lead organization. Just a note that regional or location-specific branches of larger organizations can each register and submit separately as the lead organization on one application. Participants may list both the parent organization and a specific applicant or project name in the lead organization field on the registration form, such as parent organizations dash project name. So for the situations I just mentioned, please note that the proposed projects must be separate and distinct. There should be no overlap in team members. The intent of this policy is to ensure that any team is concentrating their best effort into a single application. We encourage teams to select a single project that best represents your organization's ability to deliver a solution that meets the scoring criteria.
Next question. How much space would be required to establish a backup generator? What is the balance between interior and exterior space? What sort of long-term / ongoing maintenance is required to ensure that the generator is in working order for when it is needed?
The Henry L. Hillman Foundation compiled a variety of resources about backup power generation and emergency planning for participants to use as they prepare their applications. So we encourage you to review the resources webpage on the initiative website. And these questions would be best answered by an installer. So the application will require you to obtain 2 to 3 pricing quotes for key components of the proposed project, which may include equipment, supplies, contractors, labor, and more.
For the application, is the video required? And how do I upload my video to YouTube?
Yes, each application must include a brief video of no more than 90 seconds that showcases your project. This does not need to be professionally produced. A video shot on a smartphone is acceptable. Quality of your video will not impact the outcome of your proposal. So please see FAQ number 12 for instructions for recording and uploading your video on YouTube. And then for more information about video guidelines, review the application. Important reminder, you will need to set the video privacy settings to public or unlisted. Do not set them to private. So when setting as unlisted, only those with the URL, such as the Powered and Prepared Initiative team, the evaluation panel members, and the selection committee, only those folks will be able to access and view the video. And if you need technical support, you can email us at questions@poweredandprepared.org.
Next question. Is it possible to edit the registration form once it's been submitted?
Yes, as mentioned, you may update the registration form up until the application deadline at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, September 17th. From the Submissions tab on the platform, you can select Registration Form to update this information. And to ensure fairness, the platform does not allow edits to the registration form or the application once the application deadline passes on September 17th.
Are application materials confidential?
So your submission will be shared with 5 evaluation panel members, the selection committee, and the Powered and Prepared Initiative team during the evaluation process. Portions of your applications may be published online and may be shared with the general public to promote your proposal or to highlight results of the initiative. Those portions may include, but are not limited to, lead organization name, lead organization website, the project title, project statement, the executive summary, the video pitch, and the project description. After awardees are announced, an online searchable database of applications will be shared with other potential funders or government agencies, so applicants will have the opportunity to opt out of this database if they prefer. So as you work on your applications, we encourage you to avoid sharing any sensitive or confidential information in your responses.
Next question. Where can I learn more about power resilience, backup power generation, and emergency planning as I develop my proposal?
As mentioned, the Henry L. Hillman Foundation has compiled many resources about backup power generation and emergency planning. We encourage you to please carefully review the resources on the initiative's website as you prepare your application.
Next question. What separates the strongest generator applications from the rest? What should we emphasize most in telling our story? And are there any common mistakes applicants should avoid?
This is the first Powered and Prepared initiative. So while we don't have any examples of common mistakes from a previous version, we do encourage all applicants to carefully review the rules, the FAQ, the deadlines, and scoring rubric on the initiative's website.
Let's move on to questions about evaluation and selection. How will submissions be assessed?
So once the submission deadline passes, the Powered and Prepared initiative team will perform an administrative review to confirm that each submission meets the rules and submission requirements before advancing them to the evaluation panel. The evaluation panel will use the scoring rubric to provide scores and valuable feedback on their assigned submissions. All scores will be statistically normalized to ensure fairness, and then applicants that advance to the evaluation panel will be reviewed by 5 of our evaluation panel members. Then, informed by the evaluation panel, the selection committee will review the top scoring submissions. The selection committee is comprised of staff from Henry L. Hillman Foundation, and then based on considerations that may include but are not limited to evaluation panel resulting rank order and a diversity of solutions, geographies, and feasibility, the selection committee will select up to 15 awardees who will receive $300,000 each. Awardees will be announced by spring of 2027.
Will applicants receive feedback on their submissions?
Yes, so each evaluation panel member scores and comments on the submissions assigned to them using the scoring rubric. But in addition to numeric scores, reviewers are required to provide comments to justify each score and note their overall impression of each application. So not only will you receive scores on your submission from the judges, you'll also get feedback. We find that this feedback is one of the most important aspects of participating in initiatives like this one, and that even if you're not selected as an awardee, you walk away with valuable feedback that you can then use to refine your proposal and seek other funding or expanded support.
How can we use the Powered and Prepared Initiative Award?
So award funds must be used for the project for which they are intended and may be dispersed to partners for project-related purposes. Awards may be used to pay for equipment and installation costs, as well as relevant electrical and enabling renovations. So eligible expenses include, but are not limited to, equipment and supplies, installation costs, enabling renovations and upgrades, salaries for directly relevant personnel, and seeding small maintenance and repair funds. And please note that while general operating support is not allowed, applicants may have overhead costs that are not directly attributable to the proposed project, but are necessary for implementation. Henry L. Hillman Foundation reserves the right to review and adjust the amounts allocated for indirect expenses and will consider paying for those indirect costs up to a maximum of 10% direct project or activity costs. Please note that any indirect costs are accounted for in your budget in the application. And any portion of salaries and other similar costs that will be allocated directly to the implementation of the proposed solution are eligible expenses and can be their own line items. Be sure to review the rules for more information about the use of award funds.
Next question. What are the next steps if I'm selected as an awardee? What is the earliest project start date?
The awardees will be publicly announced by spring 2027. So applicants may use April 2027 as the earliest start date for the purpose of the application and for calculating the maximum 2-year project period. Please note that projects currently ongoing at the time of application are still eligible to apply. And in this case, these projects would also have a maximum of 2 years to utilize the funding, meaning a maximum end date of April of 2029. We leave it up to applicants to determine the best timeline and milestones that work for their proposal so long as they are within the project period. And Henry L. Hillman Foundation team will work with awardees to execute the award agreement. Note, there's a sample award agreement on the website, and it's provided as an example only. So each grant agreement governing the use of awards may vary depending on the nature of the project, the organization receiving the award, and the Henry L. Hillman Foundation. And following the execution of the award agreement, the project will be implemented over a maximum 2-year project period. A one-time payment will be dispersed no later than the end of June 2027, and then awardees will be required to report progress towards milestones and other goals. Those reporting requirements may vary based on the organization and the project and will be determined by Henry L. Hillman Foundation. It is likely necessary that a minimum of one financial report per year and one narrative report per year may be required. And again, please review the rules for more information.
Next question. Is a current emergency operations plan required to apply for the grant?
On the application, there's a section titled Emergency Plan where applicants have the opportunity to detail your emergency plan and outline steps for continuity of operations on site or at a secondary location during loss of power. If applicable, please include information on starting and supervising backup power generation. Review the planning guide under Resources for additional information.
What is the monetary limit we can ask for?
The project budget detailed in the application must account for the full $300,000 award.
Next question. Can the grant be used for primary electrical services, not just for backup service?
The Powered and Prepared initiative is specifically for backup power solutions for essential service providers. Awards may be used to pay for equipment and installation costs, as well as relevant electrical and enabling renovations to allow for installation of backup power solutions.
Can projects proceed before awards are determined? Many pieces of equipment have extremely long lead times right now.
Projects currently ongoing at the time of application are eligible to apply.
Does the size of the organization and the number of people served have an impact on being awarded funding?
The evaluation panel will use the scoring rubric to provide scores on their assigned submissions. Applicants will be scored on whether the proposed solutions are durable, integrated, impactful, and feasible. Impactful proposals will address an urgent problem worth solving and will have a transformative impact. The proposal will be ambitious in number of beneficiaries, size of geography, or intensity of impact on a small but vulnerable group. We encourage you to review the impactful trait of the scoring rubric to learn more about how we have defined a strong proposal. Organizations of any size are eligible to apply.
Are universities able to apply if we are a registered nonprofit organization?
Please note that educational entities such as schools, colleges, junior colleges, or universities are not eligible to apply as a lead organization. However, eligible organizations are welcome to collaborate with nonprofits, for-profit companies, foundations, schools, colleges, and universities, government agencies, individuals, and other entities, either US-based or non-US based, to develop the solution.
Next question. Can you explain solar again?
Yes, this initiative is technology agnostic, allowing applicants to propose a range of solutions, including but not limited to solar power, fixed generators, portable generators, battery systems, and innovative energy systems that best meet the power resilience needs of their communities and enable essential service providers to continue to operate during community-wide power outages. Please review the resources section of the initiative website for additional information.
Next question. If our organization currently has an active grant with the Henry L. Philman Foundation, are we still able to pursue this opportunity?
Yes, if an organization currently has an active grant with the Henry L. Hillman Foundation, it is eligible to apply. The Powered and Prepared initiative is a unique time-limited opportunity.
Who can we reach out to with project-specific questions?
If you would like to email us with questions after today's webinar, you can reach us at questions@poweredandprepared.org. Please note that to ensure fairness to all of our applicants or all of our participants, we're not able to provide guidance specific to your proposed project. Technical questions specific to your project will be answered by an installer, would be best answered by an installer.
Can an application request generators for multiple locations owned by the same organization?
You may only complete one submission as the lead organization. We leave it up to each applicant to best determine the structure that works best for their proposed project. Please review the rules for more information and the scoring rubric to learn about how we have defined a strong proposal. Please also note that the lead organization must own the property and or building and or property where the project will be located.
One moment. A few more questions coming in.
And as we work to answer your questions, just a few reminders that if we don't get to your question today or if anything comes up afterwards, you can always contact us at questions@poweredandprepared.org. And as a reminder, the registration deadline is coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26, 2026. And we do have some more time, so if anyone has any lingering questions, feel free to add them to the questions and answers box. And as we work to answer these last few questions, just a reminder that this webinar is being recorded today. The recording will be added to the news and media kit page of the website, so please check back there. And we'll also email it out to folks who've registered for the initiative. And again, to access today's recording, we'll add it to the news and media kit page of the website that Ethan's showing on the screen later this week. We'll also post it to the forums page of the platform for folks who've registered for the challenge. And lastly, we'll email it out to folks who've registered for the challenge directly. Just give us another minute or so as we work to answer these questions that have been submitted at the end today.
Next question. Will smaller award amounts be given, or should our proposal be around $300,000?
The budget must account for the full $300,000 award. Awards may be used to pay for equipment and installation costs as well as relevant electrical and enabling renovations. Eligible expenses include, but are not limited to, equipment and supplies, installation costs, enabling renovations and upgrades, salaries for direct relevant personnel, and seeding small maintenance and repair funds. Please review the application section of the website for additional details.
One moment as we work to answer your questions. Next question. Are judges screened to ensure there will be no bias toward or against an organization? For example, will a certain application not be shown to them if they have an affiliation with that organization?
Yes, each judge will have the opportunity to declare any conflicts of interest, and any conflicted applications will be reassigned to another judge. Judges who are on applicant teams or leaders of organizations who submit may also recuse themselves from the process.
One moment.
And as we work to answer these last few questions, just as a reminder, if you have any other questions that come up today, you're always welcome to email us. Again, that email address is questions@poweredandprepared.org. Our email address is always in the footer of the website as well under contact if you need to find it quickly.
We have another question that just came in. If you have a multi-site organization, can you purchase generators for more than one site? Do you have to own or lease each location?
You may only complete one submission as the lead organization. We leave it up to each applicant to best determine the structure that works best for their proposed project. Please review the rules for more information and the scoring rubric to learn more about how we have defined a strong proposal. The lead organization must own the building and/or property where the project will be located. Documentation to confirm building and/or property ownership may be collected from applicants that are selected to participate in later stages of the initiative. In the case of portable generators, the lead organization must be able to demonstrate that it owns the building where the portable generators would be stored or used. The intent of this role is to ensure that the benefits of the project remain with the community and lead organizations and not with any landlord.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end of our questions today. Thank you all so much for spending your time with us on this Tuesday. Again, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to register no later than 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, August 26th, 2026, even if you haven't yet decided if you'll apply. This way, you're registered and you have the opportunity should you decide to later. And again, a recording of this webinar will be posted on the News and Media Kit page of the website, to forums for those logged into the platform, and it will be emailed to registrants. If you have more questions after today's webinar, please email us at questions@poweredandprepared.org. And thanks again so much for joining us. We really look forward to your participation. And I'll hand it off to Meredith for closing remarks.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to pop in and say thanks so much for joining us today, and thanks for your good questions. Again, like Susanna said, if you feel like you didn't have your question answered, please feel free to submit them to the questions at poweredandprepared.org. And we are really looking forward to seeing applications September 17th at 5 p.m. Take care.